on the 15th of March. Our church celebrates the feast day of Saint Aristoboulos. The following are some details on his life and works. After the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, a group of 70 men banded together who pledged to carry the message of salvation throughout the world. They were called the Evdelmikonda, from the Greek word meaning 70. The man who undertook the trek to the western edge of the then-known world was Aristoboulos, as hardy and dedicated a Christian as ever took up the cause of Christ. But in retrospect, the likelihood of a virtual non-entity becoming a saint in the first century to take his place in a select company numbering many thousands all the way back to the time of Christ was highly improbable. Nevertheless, Saint Aristoboulos can number himself among men whose memories we hold most sacred, only a few of whom were of humble station, and most of whom comprise some of the finest minds in all history. The reference made by St. Paul in no way diminished his prospects for sainthood, but that was far from his goal when he ventured forth, all but lost in the host of missionaries with whom he shared a rare courage and a devout faith in perilous times. It is not unlikely that the original 70 men, in whose ranks he was a virtual obscured, swelled in numbers as converts joined this army of Christ, in ever-increasing numbers. The remarkable group that formed to leave not only the Holy Land but the continental limits of Europe as well, were introducing the new faith to new frontiers. When viewed in this light, Saint Aristoboulos deserves the highest regard for being foremost among men who were a breed apart in a joint effort which lesser men would have avoided irrespective of the depth of their faith. Today the name Aristoboulos, for the most part, is a name on a church calendar, but in his day he was a symbol of the utmost in devotion to Christ. Aristoboulos was a favourite of St. Paul himself. What pleased St. Paul most was his tremendous missionary spirit and his willingness to journey to any area, friendly or even hostile, just as long as he could take with him the word of God and the message of the Messiah. His unbridled enthusiasm made him the most likely candidate for the very difficult trek to the islands. St. Paul's considerable respect for his friends is evidenced as he says, "Salute them which are of Aristobulus' household." Wherever he went in that uncharted land. His encounters would have made lesser men retreat to more hospitable atmospheres. Nevertheless, with infinite patience and inspired persuasion, his movement drew support. With boundless energy and a cooler detachment and disregard for adversity, Aristobulus' labours bore fruit. The Christian church in this forsaken land became a reality. His mission, which many viewed as the least likely to succeed, was fulfilled beyond expectation, with a steady growth of Christianity and the establishment of churches. The British Isles became an integral part of the Christian world. The light of salvation glowed through the forest of the land that was to become a mighty empire, with no little thanks to its Christian character. Aristobulus seems to have been spared persecution principally because the scattered array of opponents to his holy mission were put to rout by his oratory skills. Surviving many crises and dangers, he preached for many years until his voice was stilled by death on the 15th of March.